With hundreds of witnesses, English ship engineer Cyril Gidley's murder should have been an open and shut case. Yet. So how did Audrey Jacobs get away with murder? It all begins with a lawyer with a reputation for doing anything to win a case.
Audrey was defended by Arthur Haynes. He came to visit her in the Rowe Street lockup on the morning of the murder. Haynes used the defence of the unwritten law. This was a defence that said that a woman who had been jilted or seduced and abandoned by a man had the right to defend her honour and therefore had the right to, basically, to kill.
For this defence to work, Haynes had to convince the public that Audrey was a virtuous and respectable young woman. In the Australia of 1925, that meant she should be religious, passive, and, most importantly of all, chaste. Audrey, however, embodied the spirit of the Roaring Twenties progressive flapper movement. At age 19, she moved to Perth and was boldly pursuing her dream of becoming an artist. She was known to visit the ships at Fremantle Port, drink with sailors, and try to sell them her art. She was so popular with the men that two would propose to her, including Cyril Gidley. Audrey's perceived reckless behaviour drew the ire of her conservative parents, so much so that they approached the police for help, telling them Audrey was returning from ships with gifts and that she wasn't getting them for nothing. Her own father denounced Audrey as being plain no good. Haynes had to get creative.
Haynes was in the privileged position of actually already working for a newspaper, and we know that he was able to feed stories to the Mirror and to manipulate the press reports. They said that she was never happier than when at home with a needle and thread. They said that at one stage she wanted to become a nun. By creating this feminine identity in the newspapers and in the courtroom, Audrey had become a victim in the minds of the public rather than a killer.
Haynes ensured there was an all-Catholic jury for the trial. When in front of them, he referred to Cyril as the Sheikh, a silent film character known for being callous and domineering. This played to the idea that Audrey was seduced unwillingly. One of the most dramatic pieces of evidence was a letter written by Cyril Gidley just 10 days before his death, in which he stated, "She threatened me with my life if I didn't make her my friend again. This note is in case she does keep her vow." The letter proved inadmissible in court, with Haynes arguing that it could be a forgery.
The Truth newspaper had got hold of this letter and said they were going to publish it. Arthur Haynes went to the editor of The Truth and asked them not to print it until after the trial.
The public queued for hours to watch the trial. When the not guilty verdict was announced, the courtroom erupted into cheers and applause. Audrey moved to Melbourne to escape the spotlight. Then a mere 6 months later, she married a wealthy American businessman and set sail to New York to start a new life, leaving the notoriety of being the good Catholic girl that got away with murder behind her in Western Australia, where she is still talked about to this day.
It's murder on the dance floor, but you better not kill the groove. Oh, gonna burn this goddamn house right down.